Hello my beautiful people, welcome to your weekly general with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. With that said, if you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do so on the website address below. And before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you all, or should I say us all, on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So, when I went into my intuition today, what I actually saw was, you know, like one of those old sort of antique, almost like brass speakerphones, like the old ones that you had to wind up and stuff. And it was playing this like really sort of like, this sort of like old time music. And what I kind of got from that, because I could see two people dancing, but it wasn't like a, you know, like a sexy club sort of gyrating sort of dance. It was like a real sort of balanced, measured, like they were, you know, really gracefully moving. And the image that I got was of them over time. So it's like when they started to learn to dance together, it was one way, and you know, it was a little bit clunky and a little bit clumsy. But over time, through that constant effort and that creative effort, they became, you know, a lot more refined, and the posture changed, and the way that they moved and swayed to the music was there. It was a really beautiful scene. It was just watching this guy and this woman sort of dance, and they were just completely wrapped up in each other. But the message that I took away from it was that your refinement this week will come through creativity. So when we think about, you know, becoming refined at something, when we think about that kind of Saturnine energy, it's very often, you know, we think of like the hard work and the regimented, and you've got to be this and you've got to be this. Sometimes it doesn't have to be that, right? Sometimes we can easily, right, through creativity, through play, through enjoyment, through just getting lost in whatever it is that you're doing. You know, it's like, you know, when you get lost in a good book and you know, before you know it, you've devoured like 50-60 pages, or you know, when you sit down and you start doodling, and before you know it, you've got like an A4 or A3 sheet of this amazing piece of artwork that, you know, it wasn't going anywhere, it wasn't doing anything, but it just flowed out of you. Sometimes tapping into that creative flow energy brings you refinement anyway, because you're utilizing the skills that you already have, or certainly developing a skill that you already have, but you're doing it through that creative expression. So whether this is your words, whether it's your singing voice, whether it's literally your dance moves, whether it's your reading tarot, whatever your art is, whether it is linked to your work, whether it's a hobby, whether it's a side hustle, whatever, this week you will find that ability to refine what you do. That's really weird. Did you see that? Something just flashed across the I've got my little tingle as well. Ooh, okay. Yeah, maybe I'm tapping into something here. So, you know, that energy of refinement, this week, let it come through your creativity. Lose yourself in whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is that you're studying, you know, whether it is for something, you know, real world that you want to create a practical application for, or whether it's something on an internal level. You will find that state of refinement. You will refine what you are good at this week by utilizing that creative energy. So refinement through creativity this week, right? So whether it's drawing, painting, singing, dancing, let that creative spark within you, let it loose, right? Let it flow. And I actually feel like this week that energy could really soften some of the hard edges that we know are kind of going to be around, all right? We're getting into the thick of it now as we come into September, right? This is the time that you know, many that's so weird. I have no idea where it's coming from. And I'm on like the second floor here, so it's not, do you know what, there's nothing, you know, passing by the window. I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, that's what I got for the weekly message. For the direction card, what is the energy that comes up as the overarching energy or theme this week? And we get the Fool card, right? We are into not only a new month, but we're into pretty much a new season now. I mean, not officially, but, you know, pretty much into a new season. We're coming into a new energy. And the fact that we've got the Fool card, right? What is the Fool? The Fool is that innocent aspect of all of us, that nescient part of us that is untapped, untamed, unformed, unshaped. And that's why the Fool card has so much power, because it is pure potential. It's like the lump of clay before the sculptor has loved it into being, you know, into whatever it's going to be from there. It's like the, you know, the womb, just as it receives that you know, that spark of life, and then whatever forms from it is whatever forms from it. But this is that pure potential. Allow your creativity to roam this week. Find yourself a moment to tread a path that you haven't touched before, to go down an avenue or a route, like not, you know, at night, let's not get reckless, right? But find, you know, travel, go to somewhere that you haven't been before, do something that you haven't done before. You know, this week, find a way to do something completely novel or completely new that's going to take you in a new direction, because I think in that energy, you are going to find that push for, you know, towards some sort of creativity. And I actually feel like a lot of us, in some way, shape or form, this week, we are going to be on the precipice of some sort of new personal journey, whatever that might entail for you. So how do we use this Fool energy? With the Eight of Pentacles, right? So whatever your craft, whatever your work, whatever your, you know, whatever it is that you are doing on a real world level, work at it, but come from that creative sort of element where it's that pure potential. You know, like when you say to a kid, imagine this, like you can just see it, they're like, you know, and it really is, it can be that simple this week. This Eight of Pentacles as a direction card is basically saying, work at it, work at being creative, insert your creativity into your work, find ways of utilizing that creative potential within you and weaving it into every aspect of the craft that you have. It's really interesting that this comes up because I myself am currently in training with my magical mama. I call her my magical mama. She's not actually my mum, but on a magical, spiritual and tarotic level, she definitely is. And I'm actually kind of in more training at the moment to get another aspect of the work that I do that I haven't really been able to get. And it's kind of like, it's funny because I've been reading up on it over the last few days, and it's starting to just slowly, you know, I'm looking back at the young tarot reader that I was 10, 15, 20 years ago now. And really starting, it's like, wow, you know, like how far do we travel? So very, very interesting that this comes up. You know, what is the craft that you want to perfect this week? Find the refinement through creativity, let it flow through you. And then for the insight card, is what is coming in for us, we've got the Page of Pentacles, right? This is literally working on your craft. Now, one of the beautiful messages that I like from, I've forgotten his name, but there's a guy that did a book called Kabbalistic Tarot. And in that, he puts a deeper spin on the Page of Pentacles, because he says this is effectively what your soul is drawn to, right? So, and I've said this to you guys before. If you've been with me long enough, you will have heard me say the things that you are drawn to, the things that you find fun and joy and creativity and frivolity and meaning and excitement in, are all linked to your purpose, right? If you want to know what you're supposed to be here to do, you know, think about what are the things I truly enjoy, what are the things that excite me and turn me on and get me fired up about life or make me smile. Those things all have an element of what you are supposed to be doing. And I've said this to you before as well, right? If you look back over your entire life scope and plan, you will see that throughout it, there's always been a thread of what it is that you end up being really drawn to or going into. So from little, I was obsessed with magic and elves and unicorns and wizards and all of it, right? And That was me. I was like that, you know, really weird and wonderful kid who was drawn to all things weird and wonderful. You know, most kids hated lightning and storms, and I would just sit there like, this is amazing. When I was old enough and my mum couldn't hold me back anymore, I would go out and walk in the storm. You know, such as is Raph. And, you know, the point I'm making about that, the things that you are drawn to, so all of this, tarot, you know, magic, all of it, I was drawn to. And look at this, I'm now 35 years old and look what I do for work. When you look back over your life, all of the experiences that you have, all of the things that you feel drawn to, there is a thread. There is a thread there that kind of says to you, follow this, right? That Fool card is that moment where the thread or the ribbon dances in front of your face and says, ooh, follow me. And then you tug on it and you follow it, and it takes you on this mad, crazy, adventurous journey. And through that, you become refined and honed into what it is and who it is that you're going to be. And then one day you find yourself like saying, oh, wow, okay, look at all of this, right? Look at all of this has been shaped into what it is that I do now. As an insight card, your Page of Pentacles is basically saying to you, not only refine your craft, but that thing that is a hobby, give yourself over to those things this week. The things that make you laugh, the things that, you know, bring you fun, that bring you joy, that feel like, you know, sometimes we have things in our lives that we do as well, and we think, you know what, I know I'll never be able to make money from this, but I just love doing it. Still linked to your purpose. A part of your purpose is simply to be here and enjoy the life that you have. You know, when we talk about purpose, there are so many different aspects to what that means. It doesn't have to always mean your work, your job, or your vocation. Although with this, it looks like this week you are refining something to do with your work, your job, or your career. And for some of you, this is really the week where you are really saying to yourself, okay, this feels like the place that I'm supposed to go. I can see that ribbon and I'm going to tug and I'm going to follow it. I'm going to see where it takes me. An adventure awaits you this week if you should be ready to accept. And my advice, yeah, go for it, because it could lead you to some really amazing things. On a wider world stage level, I think we're going to be seeing either a mass return to work this week, or we're going to see some sort of, I don't want to say sanctions, because I don't think that's the right word, but I think we're going to see something put in place to protect more workers. I think we're going to see maybe some sort of new legislation when it comes to work. I do feel like we might see some sort of protest about the hours or the types of contracts that are presented this week, you know, in the country. You know, it might be across the world, it might be specifically to the country that I'm in, I don't know, but I can definitely get in that vibe from it. And I think also we're going to see something happening with the education system this week, so I'll be interested to keep my eyes peeled on that to see how it shapes up. With that said, I wish you all an abundance of all of that good stuff. I truly hope this resonates and helps you in some way, shape or form. Take care, have an amazing week, and I will see you soon.